So if we can get those map bands up on the screen, please, Mr. Producer Man, and show the audience where this is going to go down. Talk us through it.
Well, no chalet or villa to start things off, and yeah, that's to be expected. Bit surprising because we do see a lot of villa normally. Bank, cafe, gone as well. Maps we've not really seen a lot of. Following up with your favorite gone out of the pool. That's coastline out of there. No more Oregon this evening, but we are going to have a double dose of Clubhouse. Grace, I know you want to say it. Just say the words.
Ham and sandwich.
Yes, that it is, and we are going to be getting on into some more of that classic standard action in just a little bit.
Absolutely. As I say, Plowman Sandwich, what you get on the packet is what you're going to get here at Clubhouse. Very evenly balanced match. As we've just discussed, we did just see Delta Project, however, win a incredible 7-0 victory on their own Clubhouse game there against Nemesis. Do I think this will be another 7-0? I don't know. I think Gypsy Queens can fight back a little bit. They can certainly give a little bit of a bite back. They can certainly, when it comes to Clubhouse, I reckon, where it's a little bit more equal, a little bit more even Stevens, they could do something. It only takes Randy's to start making a few little mistakes, and I'm thinking Gypsy Queens can play on that. But at the same time, again, Randy, some very, very, very insane players, some very experienced players as well. So only time will tell how that one is going to go.
I mean, this will be the first time that we've seen Gypsy Queens play on Clubhouse this season. They have played a lot of Coastline, and Randy's they played once in week 2 versus Delta Project, where they lost that game. They played once in week 4 against Frenemy, where they lost that game as well. So they're going to be going up against Gypsy Queens here to see what they can do. And
Mm.
I mean, I'm excited for this one. I think because Gypsy Queens have so much to fight for and, staving off relegation and being able to stay in this league without having to fight for it, it does, give them something really important to fight for, especially in terms of the relegation rules. The rules for Project Athena is that the team that is rising is going to be given a one map advantage
Mm.
when they play in those games. So you definitely want to stay out of that because that's a difficult situation to win in. And, I'm sure Gypsy Queens want to stay around. They mustn't
Yeah.
not like us that much?
Yeah, and this is a thing as well because again, Gypsy Queens is another roster where I'm like, ooh, you're one to kind of keep the eye on
Hmm.
going forward as well because I find rosters like this you do see a lot of progress from because they come in and you see the things they're doing and you're like, oh, okay, there's like, they're it's like watching someone kind of make cakes and it's like they make a box standard Victoria sponge, but then you're like, okay, but then you see them start to play around with some of the more decorative pieces and you're like, okay, I see you. Eventually you're going to produce some insane birthday cake for me and I respect it. And I think,
Is that do you just view everything through the lens of what quality birthday cake can you provide me?
what food can people provide me at all times? Yes, unfortunately, that is the case. I think I was Jabba the Hutt in past life, to be honest. Um, Which might explain why I keep forcing people to wear bikinis, but, at the same time,
Uh,
that's what Jabba the Hutt did. He put
I
Leia
like you've never forced me to wear a
I
bikini.
I tried to say he put Leia in a bikini and ended up nearly saying he put Lua in a bikini. Lua, if you watch this back, I'm very sorry. I
Anyway,
will
it's Leia. Leia, not
That's what I
Leah.
said. I said Leia.
Leia.
That's what I said.
No, say it again.
Leia.
You said Leah like twice. You're just playing with me now.
You're playing with me. Leave me be,
Well,
leave me be. No,
very soon these teams will be playing with one another.
they will. They will indeed. We are just waiting for, once again, the final player to get into the lobby. Um, so yeah, we will be waiting for that for a bit
Now,
longer, it would appear.
I have a bit of a off-topic question for you. You
How
said
off topic? Like
uh,
still siege related, or is it like a very different off topic question?
yes. So you describe Clubhouse as being the ploughman sandwich, and you say that you know what you're gonna get. You get what it says on the wrapper.
Yeah, like
Now,
your cheese, your lettuce, your tomato.
I don't know about you, but I thought that the UK packaging laws, it might be different in other places, was that you had to say what was inside the product that you were buying. So surely it would be the same as any sandwich that you're purchasing from
Yeah, but
somewhere
you
that's in a
you
wrapper.
don't check it though. But something like that would be on the back in the UK as well. It'd say like ingredients: cheese, lettuce, tomato, and you'd be like, sound. The front will say Plowman's exclusively. You go to Tesco, mate. You go to Big Tesco and you have a look, and you look at the Plowman's sound. It will say Plowman's on it, guaranteed.
I've never seen a ploughman sandwich for sale in Tesco's.
I do. Ironically, I don't even eat Plowman sandwiches.
No, no, you don't, which
How do
is
you like those apples? Don't even eat them, mate. Don't even eat them. And I'm here talking about how much I love it as a map.
that you do.
Speechless. Rendered him speechless, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. Again, oh, it turns out that potentially the reason we're waiting a little bit is because one of the players is currently having technical difficulties. So we will be just waiting for that as well. I think in terms of how the playoffs are gonna go then, we could be a bit spicy here and we could start talking about that. Who do you reckon, in your heart of hearts, from everything you've seen this season in Project Athena, who do you reckon will take that number one spot, Dino?
I mean, the showdown we all want to see is Delta versus Sparkle in that grand finals. I think that's kind of the given. We want to see those two go head to head against each other in a longer format because a best of one, it really doesn't provide you with a lot to really show off. So a best of three, potentially even a best of five, which would be quite interesting, getting to see these teams really try and work through and outstrat and outmind and outplay each other.
Mm.
That would be the ideal. But I do think that just because of the performance that we've seen the whole way through, aside from like that first week against Sparkle Team was the only time Delta lost, and it's the only time it was close. No other
And
team has taken more than 3 rounds off them.
but I will also say that there is the potential that um, it was bank, Dino.
Yeah, there is that as well.
It was bank. And maybe it was just, oh, we haven't really scrimmed this. We didn't think anyone would bother taking us to bank week one. Like who straight off the back is just like, you know what, YOLO, let's take you to the reworked new map. Like that is a power play and I respect it. But Sparkle team, they are gonna be out for your blood. Delta Project are gonna be wanting to get that little revenge arc. So yeah, I think it'd be interesting. And I think a lot of the audience at home, I think a lot of people would like to see the Delta versus Sparkle team matchup, but also especially when we consider how many cheeky upsets we have actually had this season. Anything can happen, I reckon, and that's going to be my viewpoint going into the finals. Is that literally anything can happen because we've seen historically as well that Delta Project roster, everyone's expected them to win, and then something happens last minute and they don't, and it's like, oh, okay. And then you get these new champions coming through in various other leagues. Of course, this is the first season of Athena Project. It's been an absolute blast. It's been absolutely amazing. I've been able to cast with some amazing casters, work with an amazing production team, see some
He
incredible
means me.
players.
He means me for everyone at home.
see see some incredible players playing. A lot of old friends as well playing as well, I will add. Um, so that's been quite pleasant to kind of have a little first eye. It's like being in the box at the ballet. You go to the box at the ballet and you're kind of like, I'm just kind of overwatching everyone at this point. My neck hurts a bit because I'm craning it, but I'm enjoying it. That's what it feels like. It's really pleasant. And again, season two, I'm super excited for that. Super excited. I genuinely do get a little bit excitable about seeing
I
the
hadn't
progress of
noticed.
players. I,
I
I,
hadn't noticed, to be honest with
D
you.
it's just what I do. I see players and I watch them grow in tournaments, and that's my life energy. That is truly my life energy. And again, to the players watching, like when I say that I love to watch the progress of players, and I love to watch them, and I'm excited to see you next season, I 1000% mean that from the bottom of my heart. I get so excited, especially when it comes to the women's tournaments. Like that is my life energy. I am always here for it. Like oof. Oof. It's like I don't need caffeine at this point. It's just pure excitement at all times.
I mean, going back to sort of what you touched on briefly for a second there was that the second season teams always come back stronger, they come back
Mm,
better, the strategies are more put together, and everything's, more well defined. And that is definitely true. We see that happen in a lot of leagues. UKIN 2 definitely got stronger moving into the second season. And then the teams from there, they got stronger in their teams that qualified from the first season of UKIN 2, then got better in UKIN. And then after that, and now we're seeing some of them already playing in Challenger League. So, the potential for rapid growth as a league and as seasons progress is always there. And it's always great to see. And I
mm,
mean, some of these teams are really strong and can definitely start competing in some of the higher level and national leagues and above if
mm.
given the opportunity.
100%. And it's also, again, the teams that, they did the qualifiers and they didn't even get in. It's things like
Yeah.
that. Like, again, I'm pretty sure Heracon didn't qualify, but they played in the qualifiers. And that's a team that I've very much got my eye closely on. Um, and again, it's a could even be that we end up with a Project Athena Division 2. That'd be quite interesting. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Not dropping any hints there, but I reckon again, we've seen this across the pond in NA as well with Project Eris, to be honest. Like we've seen more signups than ever before within these women's tournaments, and it's such a good sign for the community. Like honestly, such a good sign for the community, such a good sign for the competitive integrity of the tournaments as well. Certainly everything starts getting very, very spicy. Lots of old faces being mixed with newer ones. So many learning experiences. So much spice at all times. It's very exciting. It's very exciting indeed. And I will be very much excited to see what happens going forward. Again, I'm not sure when the season 2 for this will be exactly. I don't know how it's going to end up mapping out, but certainly, we are coming up to a lot of national qualifiers within the winter months as well. And I would like to see some of these rosters competing within that as well, competing for those nationals qualifiers. Um, Obviously, a bit more difficult with some teams. Again, Delta Project, I think everyone would love to see them go into Nats, but that is a mixed roster. They are from so many different countries. They just have to create an entirely new league for them. Um, yeah.
Well, open qualifiers exist for a reason. So hopefully we'll get to see them perform well through some of those open qualifiers. We
Mm,
are still waiting on the last player to join the lobby. We're not just talking for the sake of it. You don't just have to stare at our faces for the sake of it. We are waiting patiently for the last player to join, and then we can get on into the last game of the regular season.
absolutely. And again, technical issues happen. Technical issues happen. I hope they can manage to fix it. It'd be a shame to leave this on just such an abrupt note if they end up having to forfeit. But again, that would be wonderful for Gypsy Queens because you're essentially propelling yourself forward for free. Again, it would be very, very nice to see this go underway. But for the meantime, again, I've had a lot of fun with this. I hope all the players have had a lot of fun with this, and I hope that going into playoffs, people put the work in, they put the hard work in. Maybe in fact, some of the teams where they've been a bit more like, oh, we're having fun, maybe we'll see them take it a little bit more seriously, as I say. And that's when the sweat will start. We'll see an abnormal amount of sweat and gatekeeping come through. And I'm all for that goblin energy, as I always say. Always here for the goblin energy, ladies and gentlemen. So
Yeah, I do believe we are going to go to a quick little break while we wait for this last player to join. So we don't wear all our voices out before we get on into the action. So please don't go anywhere. We'll be back as soon as we can with our fourth and final game of the evening. Thank you.
realized could.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We will have the game underway for you in just about a minute. We do have all the players in the lobby. Everything is all set up and ready to go. So, got to break it down one last time. We are going to Clubhouse. It is Randy's versus Gypsy Queens. Gypsy Queens fighting to stave off elimination, and Randy's playing to, I mean, secure the end of their season, finish on a high note. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Finish on a high note indeed. And again, you know, two good rosters, one roster with slightly more experience, and it is very exciting to see how this is gonna go. Again, potentially to end on an upset would be very, very funny. But at the same time, I don't think Randy's are gonna let that happen. But we will see how this goes. Again, Clubhouse very even Stevens, so we'll see what's gonna occur there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is one of those ones where it doesn't really matter. Well, it does matter, obviously the skill of the teams is going to come through and be important, but there's a lot that gets equalized by a map like Clubhouse. A lot of it comes down to the operator bans. If you're able to keep a lot of the hard breaches on the board, then the attackers are going to have a bit of an easier time. You get rid of all the hard breaches, defense is going to be living for it. As we take a look here, we are going to have Randy's starting out on defense, so they've definitely got the advantage on this one already. So
Mm.
it's gonna be fun to see how Gypsy Queens are able to deal with it as the game is getting underway, Grace.
Getting underway indeed, and again, going into this, certainly starting on defense is going to be a significant advantage for Randys, who, as we say, want to really maintain their place, keep nice and high in that table. Gypsy Queens, they want to force themselves up even more. Um, let's see how this goes. The bans could mean anything, and again, I'm wondering if there's going to be some sensible bans or some target bans here. To be honest,
That's, rel-
Jackal.
that's relatively standard. I mean, Jackal is an operator that's been banned a lot in this league, so
Mm.
uh, not too much of a surprise that we've seen that come out.
Gypsy with Queens retaliating by going for a bit more of a classical ban here, banning out that Thatcher there as well. So again, unlike the previous Clubhouse game, we're not going to have that Thatcher utility left on the board, which can be such a menace at just clearing utility for the defense as well. The Kaid, of course, getting banned out as well. That makes perfect sense. Gypsy Queen starting on attack, they're certainly going to favor that as well, because it's not just the fact that you can, maybe get rid of anything prohibiting the hard breach from getting through. It's also the fact that you can go vertically now if you need to. You can go vertically and get help to get those walls open, shooting out any mute jammers or bandit charges that may be there. The mirror ban as well. Pretty classic. Randy's obviously not going to use any mirror setups here as well, so we will be keeping our eyes on the prize to see what they are going to be bringing when it comes to some of these more pivotal choke points.
Oh. I'm never really sure about a mirror ban on club. I will be honest. I always feel like there's maybe something else that you get a little bit more utility out of. I know that the bathroom hold is particularly strong, but that's one site, and they've changed a bit about the floorboards inside of that bathroom over by master bedroom. You can go below and bucket out and gain a lot of success from that. So I feel potentially you could utilize that on banning out something like a Valkyrie, who is one of the most powerful operators in the game. Those cameras provide so much intel. There's a very good reason why you see
Defenders,
Val
protect your bombs from being defused by
consistently
attackers.
banned out at the top level of play.
Yeah, 100%. And again, it's kind of, slightly easier to use over like a Mozzie or a secondary bulletproof, because you have the flexibility of throwing them into any nook and cranny you wish to, especially when it comes to that kitchen hatch. Often that kitchen area has some very nice camp placements as well. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how Randy's going to hold this. I'm assuming there'll be some form of extended hold, maybe a bit of a cheeky roam, but let's see what they
10
do
seconds
with
remaining.
It doesn't look like they're going
5
to
seconds
do
left.
anything too fancy with it, although the Oryx,
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb
I mean,
and defuse it.
this is the site where you close all of the hatches. Oryx's big thing is that he can jump up them. So unless you're going to pray that they open the blue hatch and then entirely ignore blue, and then you can get a late flank going, maybe, but for the most part, I don't necessarily know quite how much use Maggie is going to get out of the Oryx in this round.
We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I kind of agree with that. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Oryx on a good day anyway.
Controversial.
Controversial indeed, but I just think that there's better roam operators to take. It's kind of so I even find Vigil a bit unfortunate sometimes. It's the same as Vigil, where you lose that operator. If that operator dies, you're losing the utility you can use with that team.
Some great drone work coming through from Gypsy Queens. That's already 2 Valk cams destroyed very early on. That additional utility that they brought isn't going to capitalize so much. In fact, Lua's going to go down to the spray through the wall, and Sheila's going to get the kill onto Amy Lee elsewhere. Don't know if they're aware that Lua is in fact down at the moment, as Pink Angel goes for the sledgehammer on the door and is going to get taken down by Curligan. Sometimes it's safer to shoot it open. As now the pressure coming down the main stairs, and shots going back and forth, not going to land onto the defenders. As we do see Maggie take down Skylia upstairs, still going for a roam as Tribatten gets taken down by the Thermite.
Absolutely, and again, Lua being able to be picked up is a massive thing, because that's an extra gun on the table still, and it's now going to be a little bit tricky for Natachi to try and push this by herself, sending out a little bit of utility to do with the Selma gate as well. The Suri gate, rather. I just think they are a little bit aware that Maggie may be lurking in the shadows, ready to jump out at them at any given moment. And this is a very split up team for the side of Gypsy Queens right now. And there we go. Kerrigan getting the pick onto Ganshila. No one is there for the refrag because of how split up they are. Jazia on her one in the kitchen area, and Natachi in dirt. She's going to fall, but that's a beautiful trade coming through. Kerrigan falling as well. So it's not them out, and there we go. Lua finishing it off. Randy's winning round number 1.
Yeah, I mean, the peek onto Moto by the Zofia at the end there was a drone coming down the stairs. We saw it check the hallway afterwards. So, I mean, ideally you would want to have the drone fully clear out that angle so that you can swing out into the hallway and not be shot from Moto. You can do it without having to send the drone all the way down to the door. So a little bit of a missed drone there after some excellent drone work done earlier on in the round. But Randy's, you can chill out all the Valk cams you want. At the end of the day, you're going to make noise and they're just going to shoot you off of that. So basically what happened there, Randy's held their own, got their kills, and they got a successful first round on the board.
Absolutely. Again, though, I think, Gypsy Queens did a really good job there. They cleared a lot of dirt, all that utility, got it down to Lua pretty much undetected. I don't think that Randy's were fully aware that that was happening when it was. So maybe more pressure from that side could have been good. And again, towards the end of that round, Gypsy Queens, ideally, they don't want to be splitting up when they're free to whatever it was. I think if they had someone there for the refrag, especially when pushing down that main stairs, you want someone there for the refrag because it's such an aggressive push to take. The rest of the map's fine. I mean, again, they needed to deal with Maggie ideally, in order to be able to properly go for it. But I just think that splitting up. They should have come back together and been like, okay, we're either going to have to push up on Maggie as a 2 and then someone try and get the refrag and then we can go for that collapse. But again, time is ticking on and on and on for the attackers at all times. So much to think about, And going into this, it looks like they're trying to get right stuck in as well. Looks like we may go for a little bit of a logistics kind of gym bedroom take. Again, applying that extra pressure because I'm assuming a majority of that utility by RANDYS is going to be set up around that kind of garage area. Expecting that kind of garage and main wall push.
Oh, Pink Angel is so ready for this. But I'm not going to be able to get the kill. Maggie loses a lot of HP. So they're going to be aware that she's roaming over by Strip. Yazir could be in a position to potentially catch the flank in a moment, as we are going to see a little bit of a stall coming out from Gypsy Queens at the moment. They might have just gone, oh, this could go so badly or so well, but it's going to go badly for Yazir. Maggie's going to be very happy with that, getting detected, taking up a lot of time, and still getting one before being taken out. As we are going to have some more roam pressure coming in downstairs. Skylia getting tagged up inside of Stock, the open wall, but it's going to be Kurligan who loses the fight and goes down. That's the Valkyrie getting eliminated. But with the Iana on very low HP, Ganchila is aware that now that one is inside of the bathroom over by Master Bedroom, is going to be able to get that kill onto Amy Lee. And now it's a 2 versus 4 in favor of Gypsy Queens off of some peaks and plays that you could argue RANDYS didn't necessarily have to take.
No, not at all. They did not. And again, I suppose this is the time where you do expect them to batten down the hatches a little bit, but we'll see what happens. Again, I think that it's very interesting to point out that, you know, it took 3 players to kind of take out Maggie. I do just want to point that out. Like, that was a solid roam, even if then a majority of kills were going in the favor of Gypsy Queens. Wasted a good amount of time, and now even though it is a 2v4, they still have to get this collapse underway. It looks like they are starting to go for it. Tribaden holding the top of red, waiting and ready for Skylia to start making her way up it. Lure as well, retreating to a more passive and defensive positioning, holding the angle onto the cash doorway. That wall is going to get nice and opened up.
Lua does have a C4 in pocket, could go to throw it out, peeks on around and gets taken down by the Thermite, holding the long angle. Now Tribaden left alone as Lua is downed, not dead just yet. The proximity alarm is going to give the info that there's one player coming up the red stairs. So they're doing it cautiously, not going to be able to take advantage of the misplacement. For now, as Tribaden's going to get that kill onto Ganchila. Nita hits the shot into the side, she does so. That's Pink Angel down. This is now 1 versus 1. Batachi is able to get the kill onto Lua, who was already down. Needs to try and push on up, but with the time running out, Tribaden is going to win this one. The impacts need to come on through. No, just going to run up the stairs and take the fight. Tribaden in a 1 versus 4 wins it out. Wow.
Impressive stuff. That is, yes, I don't want it like that is not a big feat because that is a 1v4 clutch situation with your teammate dying slowly but surely for a majority of it on the floor of cash. Very, very well played there. I did ponder for a second. I was like, are they going to try and throw the impact up from the lounge area? But they didn't come through. Instead, yeah, decided to go for the run instead. And again, we did see that moment of kind of like, oh my god, are they going to try and push red stairs where this defender's kind of run away because, you know, the timer is ticking and they know that you either have to commit to that plant or you have to chase them down. And ultimately, Gypsy Queen's choosing to commit to the plant instead. And once that timer runs out, you can't come off that defuse.
Yeah, I mean, one thing for me in that round was that they had Ganchila paired up with Masachi over inside of connector or construction, and that inhibited them from being able to actually get the main wall open.
Yeah.
Ganchila never went below and just fired an impact up at the center of the wall because all they had was Lua and her mute jammers stopping that wall from being opened up by the Thermite. If that CCTV balcony is open, that 1v4 never happens.
Yeah, I think Gypsy Queens wanted to go for a slightly atypical approach to it on the basis that they probably assumed that a majority of the setup would be based around that standard take, and I think sometimes it can benefit teams to just give the old razzle dazzle and go for the construction takers instead. But certainly putting all of your eggs in one basket, isn't it?
Hitachi spent a lot of time outside that balcony trying to get the wall open, waiting for someone to clear out the mute jam or whatever. And it was quite late on in the round that they made the decision to rotate around. So a good construction take also has the CCTV wall open, in my opinion.
No, I think I agree with that. I think I agree with that. Ooh, Skyly, a beautiful nade kill onto Amy Levo to open this round up.
The follow-up?
Potentially the follow-up, Dino. I mean, let's see. No, it's gonna take a little bit of health off Maggie though. But again, that's gonna certainly alert them that there might be a cheeky little operator lurking in the corners. Ganshida getting very bulky with it, just waiting patiently
Located by attackers.
on this gym window, ready to go for the push in. A very aggressive way to play this. And there we go! Ganshida's spinning around towards the CCTV area, aware that there was probably a player chasing Maggie, calling another kill in the favor of Gypsy Queens.
And they're setting up for a textbook take. They don't have all the control over towards CCTV as you would typically see. They don't have that external walls open on up and an angle being held. But Ganshila is still able to hold control over here as Skylayer gets the kill onto Lewis. It's now a 2 versus 5. One of these players is trapped all the way over inside of Cash. And Hitachi is going to be able to go for the plant as Tribatten is starting to push on through. Is going to get taken down by the low HP Zafir. And now it's just Kurligan left alone at 1 versus 5. They were able to get a 1 versus 4. Well, one member on their team was able to get a 1 versus 4 earlier on, but I think this might be beyond them, but never say never. 2 quick kills coming on through. And there's still lots of time for them to play with, peeking around the CCTV window. They get a stun! The jump on out, but not able to land. It's a trade! That was a trade. There was so much potential.
Oh,
there
fair
was...
play.
Jeez. What
Fair
was
play.
that? Kurligan!
Some of these plays coming through from the RANDYS ladies, it's a little bit naughty. It's a little bit... Actually, it's not even a little bit spicy. Like, it's just bloody good.
Yeah. Yeah, that was insane. I mean, there was so much potential in that. If possibly the vault animation throws off the aim a bit, didn't go for the vault, could have hit the headshot on the Pink Angel, then suddenly you're in a 1 versus 1 with still 25 seconds left to go on the diffuser timer, and RANDYS are taking a 3-0 lead. Like, whew. But that's not the case. Gypsy Queens are able to get 1 on the board and keep themselves in it for now.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be an interesting one going into this as well, because they're going back to basement. They're bringing out the cheeky yokais, do you know? And instead of bringing that Valkyrie, they're taking the Mozzie instead.
10 seconds
Again,
left.
I think a lot of the time Mozzie can be a little bit on the front foot take for people instead of a Valk. I think that the Valk utility is so much
Attackers must
cleaner to
locate and
use.
defuse the
Get a
bomb.
C4 regardless. It just never makes sense to me. Again, yes, maybe it's getting rid of some of those drones, but you have to really make sure those pests are in the best position for it.
I mean, just a throwback to the old days where you'd have, on this map, Mute, Mozzie, and Vigil all being run at the same time. The nightmares that cause the support players on the attacking teams is Ganshila might cause a few nightmares for the RANDYS, as she's already got control of Oil Pit, and nice angle being held. The peak coming through, almost capitalized on. But Tribatten's going to get away and actually going to go for a little bit more. Isn't able to find anything, no damage being inflicted onto either player.
Cover your ears.
Yeah, absolutely not. And again, it's it's a bit of a shame really, because I think Ganshila there, she's gonna be known to be an oil pit now. If she maybe would have waited a little bit longer, not sensing that utility down, perhaps it'd be a different case. Perhaps she could slowly sneak. A difficult one though. If you do see a little bit of movement, you do want to try and win your one, don't you?
Oh, you always want to win your one. Pink Angel going to send a drone on through. Tribatten gets 1, Skylia 1 as well. So even us out still at 4-4. There is a player up top, and that's going to be Maggie. And she'll have the potential to deny that kitchen hatch from being open on up. slow down more of what these Gypsy Queens want to do. As they do have control inside of Dirt. Pink Angel is able to use that Flores drone to get on in and deal with a bit of utility, but they're not really getting control from the spot.
They're not, but it feels almost like there's a bit of a hesitance to make the push anymore. Again, perhaps they're waiting for that secondary dimension to come down main/kitchen hatch. So it'd be curious to see how this goes underway. Again, 50 seconds on the clock, Dino, and a little bit of a distraction in this kind of lounge area as well. Perhaps they need to focus more on making that push towards the objective. I mean, it looks like Skyly has just decided to give up on even facing those players, and that could actually bite her a little bit because, again, there's not. I think she thinks there's one player there when it's actually two.
Then that doesn't mean Randy's have overcommitted off site, and Skyly are able to get the kill onto Lure. Tri-Baton trades out Pink Angel, keeping us still close in a 3v3. The new recoil is going to prevent that kill from being quite as clean as possible. As the time running down, Randy's just need to hold onto these angles. The cohesive push needs to come through from Gypsy Queens. A trade to start us off at the end. The Tachi just runs on in. It's going to be Yazir to get one. It's now a 1 versus 1 as Amy Lee had gotten the knife onto Natachi. But Randy's, with the time, able to win that round.
Very, very unfortunate. But again, it's coming so close for nail for Gypsy Queens right now. They're doing a really, really good job within this. They're really fighting for it. And again, realistically, it's going to be an interesting story when it gets to their attack, their defense rather. I'm curious to see how that's going to go on the basis of how well they've been running through the motions of their attack, I suppose, so to speak. Again, their gym push was really good. Like, that's clearly a very strong and well-rehearsed push for them.
Absolutely, as we are going to see Maggie spice it up a bit. Lord Tachanka being brought out for our pleasure, potentially, and stuck. Wasn't a bait and switch. We are going to see the slightly worse version of Smoke could be played here today.
You know what? Fair enough, though.
Respect it. Respect the hustle.
Yeah, it's those toxic babes can be very, very useful, but again, you only get 3 of them. Tachanka, you still get the shield. I guess, presumably, it. You know, I am expecting that these kind of like fire grenades are not going to just be used for maybe plant denial. They'll be used at other times too to kind of hold back the attack. Again, especially maybe around that rafters area, places like that. That'd be quite interesting to see.
5 seconds left.
It really came to a nail last time as well, Dino.
Attacker's objective is to
You
locate
can
a bomb
occasionally
and
get
defuse
some
it.
really nice angles and lineups coming through from Tachankas because they bounce off walls and they only activate when they hit the floor. So if you can get the angle right, you can sort of play in a safer spot than you could do with a smoke. But for the most part, just because the area and the length of time that the smokes are up for, and the damage they do per second, I believe, is much higher as well. It makes smoke almost always the more preferable pick.
Absolutely, and I feel like it looks like they're going for a similar kind of approach here, where they're going to try and go for a little bit of a construction take. Actually, no. As I say that, they're going to completely change their mind and go for El Clasico. They do have the Ace and the Thermite. They're using both bits of utility. No? A little bit of confusion coming through from the side of Gypsy Queens here. I'm not sure what's happening there, but again, Maggie taking a little bit of damage here in this garage area. Okay, that's fair enough. That's a nice little hold to have. The Tachanka in. Again, the garage, holding people back for as long as you possibly can. And ooh, Maggie! Really, really nice positioning there, taking down Skylia before she can push in and start putting an extra layer of aggression into this attack.
Yeah, Kazia now opened up that garage wall and is going to be applying pressure from the door. That Selma charge almost going all the way up to the shield to detonate it to make it a bit easier. We are going to see Tri-Baton get a kill onto Pink Angel. Natachi is able to trade out Lure. As 4 versus 2, Randys have control. time is on their side as well, as Natasha is going to get taken down, and now it's just Yazia left alone. 1 versus 4. We saw a 1 versus 4 from the Randys. That's not going to be the case this time. So Amy Lee just peeking the top of the red stairs. It's going to be able to get that kill, and we are going to be going to a tactical timeout, Grace.
Yes, indeed. Little cheeky tactical timeout. But again, 4-1 for the side of Randys. We will be going into round number 6. If they can get another one on the board, that is very strong for them going into their own attacking half. But again, what I will say is because of how close to the nail this has become, especially when it comes to, you know, those cash takes as well. Like apart from like maybe that last round, but I have moments where I'm like, oh my god, a Gypsy Queen's gonna do it, or there's so many trades coming through, it's getting a little bit chaotic, and I'm wondering if Gypsy Queens, when they go on defense, if they're gonna get that extra little boost from that defensive half, and then they're gonna actually maybe go in for a little bit of a reverse sweep. Overtime question mark?
Maybe.
It could be. I realistically I think it could be again. Gypsy Queens have been approaching this relatively well, and they're doing things that are working well for them in the sense that they're going for these more kind of unstandard approaches. And then they're mixing it up every single time. They are mixing up, they're doing something different, and as we've seen, you know, previously in this evening, that works out really well. That works out really well for the attack, because it keeps the defense constantly on their toes. Like, oh my god, where are they coming from? Okay, they're being aggressive. Oh no, now they're being passive. Oh no, now they're coming from this way. Oh no, now they're just randomly deciding that they're going to conga line into a completely different direction that I just didn't set up for. And now I have to frantically struggle to get back and see what they're doing. But even so, yes, Randys are winning these rounds out because they are the slightly more experienced roster, and you do expect it for them. But again, could potentially, if Randys don't play this attack seriously, this could be spicy, you know. This is the thing. Like, I genuinely think it depends how Randys are going to play this attack. They're either going to play it serious and just get it out of the way, secure the dub, or they're going to keep being, I'm not going to say excessively creative. It's a nice amount of creativity, but it's just a little bit cheeky in parts where I'm like, maybe I'm too old-fashioned for this, where I'm just like, play it properly. We'll see what happens.
It's the gun skill for Randys that's really been sort of what I've enjoyed. It's the
protect your bombs.
I mean, we see glimpses of it in all these rounds, the shots that these players are able to hit, and sometimes it's just a cut above what Gypsy Queens are able to deliver themselves. So, I mean, I do agree with you. If Gypsy Queens are able to come out and do well in this round and win it, then we could potentially see a bit of a stronger half coming through when it switches over, and we could find ourselves all the way in overtime. But I think Randys, they still want to get this one secured in their favor, over and done with. So if things start getting a bit out of pocket, then they'll straighten themselves out and
5 seconds left.
start put on the serious game faces, you know? Mean mugging.
Attackers must locate and defuse the bomb.
Well, let's see how this goes for them. Again, we're seeing the same. It's just so risky when it's that close to the spell wall. Don't know how I feel about it. Again, I think maybe I'm just a bit too cautious about things like that. I don't like the rotation when there's no line of sight, or at least an Aruni there. Unless there is an Aruni there, and my eyes are deceiving me. We'll see what happens. It's actually applying the experiment charge. They just need to get rid of the mute down at the other side. Looks like that's what, again, Sheila is going to attempt to do. Again, applying pressure once again to that gypsy window as well.
A good time on getting this wall open, though. And nice peek coming through from Ganshila, just challenging from the windows, is able to get one. And that's going to be the smoke going down nice and early. That's Lure gone. And Ganshila's able to maintain this position. Again, there isn't any pressure being applied over inside of CCTV by the attack. So we could see a nice little challenge coming through from that CCTV window in just a second. But Ganshila, quick with the reactions, is going to get one. Kerligan right there to trade back, though. Keeping this somewhat close before Pink Angel says, no, I don't really care what you want to do, and gets the kill onto Kerligan in return. think it's now, Grace, in a 2 versus 4, 2 versus 3, in favor of Gypsy Queens.
Absolutely. And again, it's going to all be down to Maggie and Amy Lee to try and secure this for their team. Slight disadvantage in terms of player count, but they do have the timer in their favor. But while Gypsy Queens have a lot of time to work with, there's still a minute or so on the clock. Maggie taking significant damage, gonna have to go for a cheeky rotate. Looks like she's just waiting for the collapse to come through, that execute to come through, Dino. She's gonna wait for the diffuser to start getting plonked upon the floor.
Attackers dropped the diffuser.
There we are. The attempt was made. Natachi
Attackers
falling
recovered the
there to
bomb
Maggie.
diffuser.
Maggie's going to go for the rotate. Amy Lee should have heard that diffuser being planted as well. So let's see how this is going to go.
Attackers activating
2 versus
diffuser.
2.
Plan goes down successfully, but Maggie actually able to get her down. And now the interrogation, Pink Angel.
Attackers need to protect
This
the
is a
diffuser. Position
unenviable
compromised.
position. We should, though, be seeing Maggie. Yeah, Maggie's going to be getting on the disable and just Amy Lee challenging out the window. All the information in the world coming after the
Defenders
interrogation,
disable the
and that's going to be RANDYS taking
Defenders
their
win.
defensive half 5 rounds to 1.
That is like the worst time for the defenders to get an interrogation off. Your teammates just planted. You're outside waiting patiently. The interrogation comes through. You have to hide. They know where you are. What do you do in that situation? Because they're just going to hold that angle and go for the defuse.
Yeah, I mean, it's bad enough to try and win that win that round when they don't have a live outline of where you are for 10 seconds of it. Never mind when they can quite literally see you through the walls and go, oh, well, they're all the way over there. We can, take as much time as we want. So
The Amaru.
Defenders,
someone's
protect your
getting
bombs
inside
from being
quick.
defused
That's
by
what I'm saying.
attackers.
I mean, it's CCTV cash, so...
But they're going into that CCTV window. You know that.
We'll see what... I mean, to be fair, if it happens and it plays off, I respect it. But 9 times out of 10... never works out with the operator, does it? I've seen it happen once, and it was in a North American Women's League, where they went for this really beautiful take on Consul at top floor in console. And they applied so much pressure and basically completely cleared the
5 seconds to go.
yellow stairs, and then just suddenly this Amaru comes flinging
Attackers'
through the
objective
window
is
and just
to locate a bomb and
plants.
defuse it.
Amazing scenes. Do I think that will
The
happen
bomb has
here?
been
Only
located.
time will tell.
I mean, right, how I would play it, you open up that outside breach, that CCTV breach. You have a lot of pressure being applied on Garage, so everyone thinks that's what you're doing, and then you fly on into CCTV. I don't think Curligan really cares what I think, because she's going to walk on and get the kill onto 1, and again, Sheila's going to follow up with a quick trade after that. Keep us at 4-4, but a nice early kill coming through. It is only the Jaeger going down. Only the Jaeger, it's only the Amaru. It's not like there's lots of lasting utility that has been lost, but Ganshila going down to the peak from Tribaton. It's going to make things a bit more interesting, as there is still the Valkyrie of Yazia over there as well.
Yes, indeed. I think Tribaton should be aware that someone went for a cheeky pop shot, so she'll be making her approach with a lot of caution here as well. Defense getting whittled down a lot faster than I thought they would. There's still 3 players on the table, though. There's still a lot they can do. Oh, goodness gracious me, Maggie, even luck coming out of that situation. That could have been very bad for you. But she is going to win her 1 against Pink Angel, whittling down the defense ever further. A 3 versus 2 Dino with half the time gone. Not even that, to be honest. That is good going.
Both of these players from Gypsy Queens are over at the backside of the site, back inside of top red and Cash. This is going to give them nice, safe anchor positions. They do still have a C4 apiece, so there is the potential for some nitro cells to get thrown on out and disrupt the plant attempt should it come on through. But with garage control over to the side of RANDYS, and they are just starting to take it now, passing on the angle. Yazia might get caught out here as an attack is getting tagged up just a little bit. The yellow ping and the red ping going to come on through and alert Yazia of the location of the player inside of garage. The timing! No! The C4 comes on out, isn't able to catch anything, but then the trade doesn't come through either. The bandits rotated downstairs, but has already used her C4. The kill goes down onto Yazia up above, and now it's a 1 versus 3. Amy Lee has successfully stuck the
Attackers
diffuser,
activating diffuser.
and Natachi has it all to do. Rotating up the red stairs, they need to find all 3 of these kills in quick succession. I seem to be aware that one could be playing close. The breach is right next to them, but they didn't see the tip of the head. The patience coming through from Maggie to not just swing around on that. As Natachi's working her way inside of the site, gets the kill onto the ace, the knife for good measure. And now it's a 1 versus 2. Very little time left on the defuse, and Maggie just patiently in the corner, able to secure that kill.
Absolutely. Patience is a virtue, and that is exactly why. They haven't seen me. I'm just going to stay here. I'll get my one eventually. They have to come to me. I can just sit here and chill. That's the beauty of the post-plant, Dino. The beauty of the post-plant indeed. Match point now for RANDYS. Potentially another upsetting scoreline of the evening. But again, some of these rounds have got a little bit too close to the nail for comfort. And it's interesting because RANDYS have been a lot more unusual with it, a lot more creative with it. So I would be curious going into playoffs if maybe this is just some massive big brain play from RANDYS where they play the regular season just really chill, and then suddenly in playoffs they just turn up and it's go time.
Defenders,
That would be
protect your
quite
bombs.
interesting for me to
Defuse
witness,
by
I think. We'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. And again, GYPSY Queens, I respect the fact they brought the Thunderbird because I really did think that helped in that initial push into cash for the retake as well. I just, that player is not noticing the tip of
Bomb
Maggie's
located by
beret.
attackers.
It's such a shame.
Yeah, I mean, I still don't think that much of a changed in that round, as Amy Lee was playing close to the doorway between the sites. So if Maggie goes down, Amy Lee just needs to turn around and
10
get that
seconds
kill.
to insertion.
But,
Attackers have
you know,
located a bomb.
we can spend
5
all the
seconds
time
left.
breaking down the rounds after they've happened and saying, oh, what if he did that? What if he did the other? I think what
Attackers
might
are
really
moving to
help
defuse a bomb.
RANDYS is if Kurligan doesn't go flying on into the building in the first 5 seconds of the round as Amaru, which we're not going to get a repeat of this time.
I am slightly concerned that GYPSY Queens would choose to go back to their Cypher, and again, this is going to potentially be a lot faster now for the side of RANDYS on how they approach this, because potentially they'll assume it's just going to be the same setup pretty much.
Yeah, they've already been able to open up a nice little hole to throw grenades and flashbangs through the flashbangs to clear out any potential ADSs, so they know that they can just bounce a nade off the top, get that wall open on up with the ace. As Lure going for the cook nade, it gets thrown on out. Angel loses a lot of health. It's taken down to about 5 points of HP, but they're just going to go on a little lap of honor as they run around and collect all the HP they can from all the Thunderbirds that are available to them. As now Sheila is going to get the kill onto Maggie, not holding the flanks correctly, as Amy Lee is going to take down Pink Angel.
Absolutely, Lure, and also getting a second pick onto Yazia as well. And Sheila getting dropped by Triban through the wall. A nice little double wallbang almost.
Skylia with the M870 gets the kill onto Lure. Triban just walks on his site. Kurligan is able to get one onto the Apache, and now it is just Skylia left 1 versus 3. Shotgun in hand. Shotgun versus shotgun. The M870 is gonna win, and the blast coming through the floor forces Amy Lee off of the plant. Skylia is on the Jaeger, no C4 available, and there is one player holding on the red stairs. The shotgun blast coming on through, and adds the kill onto Amy Lee. The close range. Triban goes down the quad with the M870, just making sure that there's no. No, not even making sure that there's no claymores around. Just wanted to type in chat. Pew pew.
Oh my goodness gracious me, that could have been
Bomb
over.
diffuser disabled by defenders.
That could have been over.
Defenders win.
What a clutch coming through there from Jim. That's caught me off guard, man. That's really caught me off guard. Oh my goodness gracious.
Getting all set up for the cameras to come back onto us, getting focused in how we're gonna, and then just nope, M870 superpower.
Yeah, now there's that times 4 and we can go to match point, overtime rather.
I reckon we could see a repeat of that.
I believe. Well, I don't think Randy's want a repeat of that, which is why they're bringing the Lion, the Thinker, the Fuse. The Lion, the Witch, the Wardrobe.
I mean, Fuse being called a wardrobe is a bit of a push, but as it is...
Do you think?
Well, okay, Blitz maybe. Blitz you could call a wardrobe.
Blitz has massive wardrobe energy.
Like, he's even got the shield, like, you could use as, like, the door of the wardrobe. Either way. I mean, the fuse could have worked, though. Because fuses work through reinforced walls. Kitchen hatch. You know.
That's it, isn't it? Maybe they looked at that lineup and they were like, oh, they're not going kitchen. Maybe that's what it was, Dino.
Essentially. We will never know.
Could have been that, could have been that. Let's see how this goes. Again, some of those global abilities coming out. A little bit sweaty. Lou on the blitz as well. Randys do not want to give them any more leeway here at all, do they?
I'm calling a blue rush.
That is a bold statement. A blue rush?
Blue rush.
Do you know what?
Attackers must locate and defuse
I'm
the
entirely
bomb.
wrong. Not a blue rush. Never mind. Oh. Maggie's there, but Maggie might push blue. And then everyone else goes down main stairs. Yeah, that's looking like it. Main stairs. Blue rushes always work though.
A little bit risky biscuits alone, but it looks like they're actually meeting themselves at that main stairs. Yeah, it's a main stairs push. A full stack main stairs push with the Lion, with the Thinker, and with the Blitz. But Maggie leading the way, not Lua. So if that global ability is going to come through, it's going to start pinging people out. Everyone else is going to be stuck where they are. Maggie taking out capture. Oh, it's the rush wall! I haven't seen this in so long.
Rush will not reinforced. Rush comes through, but GYPSY Queens with all the frags going their way. But it's now in a 1 versus 4 as Kurligan's able to trade one back. Gantila goes down in response as well. The shot coming back through from Kurligan. 1 versus 3. See, if they'd gone for a blue rush, they would have won.
Is that what that is?
That's what I'm maintaining
No,
here.
I think that they could have got the plant down and not tried to chase down kills, and then they probably would have won, to be honest.
Well, have to see how this plays out because it's not over yet. We've seen a 1 versus 4 already. We almost saw a 1 versus 5 come through from Kurligan earlier on. Her aim is on point today. Just needs to wait, see what these players on GYPSY Queens are going to do. She's able to recover the diffuser, find a way inside of Armory. Some shots going over towards the Malusi. She actually gets healed up by the Kona station. The Malusi swings round with the timing, and Skylia able to get that kill. And GYPSY Queens, they're not going to go peacefully into the night. They're going to fight for every single round, and Randys are going to have to earn this win.
Absolutely. I mean, already I'm like, okay, this has been match point for a while now, but again, Randys, I think they felt that was the best way to play it. I understand why. I hadn't seen anyone go for rush wall for a very long time, though, I must admit. But again, typically when you do that, you need to be holding the angles, not chasing people down. Allow that safety for the plant to just immediately get stuck. That's the easiest way to, because again, you force that plant, then you're in a post-plant situation. The time is in your favor instead of the defenders. You've just completely thrown a spanner into the works of defense, but very amusing actually to watch this happen. Randy's going a little bit more sensible now, taking the Ace Maverick. The Thinker's still there. I think they got good benefit from it last time. The Ash and the Sledge as well.
Attackers need to
I think they
and
did.
defuse
Towards
as
the
many
end,
bombs
it looked like it was going to pay off for them. No, you disagree? Okay, there we are.
Yeah, the Thinker's fun, but I wouldn't necessarily say it was as great. The Lion, I think, would have been a better operator to keep on over from that previous round, but either way, we're going to have to see how Randys want to play out this round. We're saying it could be the final round for the last 2 rounds, but then again, this could still be the final round as Randys just need 1. But GYPSY Queens need everything right now. They need to fight for every single round here.
And fighting they are. Again, they've just won 2 rounds in a row on match points, so
Attackers
don't think they're getting too jolted by anything super aggressive that's being thrown at them. Feels like they're kind of minding their P's and Q's, knowing when to swing. Working out alright for them.
Looks like they're actually going for a full clear this time as Maggie's coming on into garage with the drones there to support as well. The shots being fired through the garage wall, or the garage rafters wall, going to slow the takedown for just a moment as more droning will commence. They have chosen to reinforce the walls between CCTV and CAM, so it's going to provide an extra obstacle for RANDYS to try and work through, but we are seeing something that we didn't see from the Gypsy Queen's attacks, and that's this full clear over to force these players out of position.
Absolutely, a lot of aggression coming through from this side of the map as well. And again, a little bit of hesitance, to be honest, now that that aggression was being met almost with some of these pre-fires from the defense as well. Kind of almost feels like the attackers are like, oh wait, we don't really want to be rushing in too quickly. Let's see what we can do. And well, what they're going to do is Louis going to start this off, getting the pick off on Itachi, but she's immediately traded out by Genshila. GYPSY are also taking down Amy Lee as well.
And Genshila getting the kill onto Maggie. Gypsy Queens hitting all of their shots, and Pink Angel hitting that C4 as well, as now it's just Curligan left alone. 1 versus 4. You're going to be coming on in by the pool table, but there has been a rotation around. The shots not being hit by either side just yet. Curligan is going to be able to reposition. Goes for a little bit of a boost. He's actually going to get that frag onto Pink Angel. The jump on in is going to be successful. Angle's not being held. The diffuser is down upstairs. Curligan doesn't have any nades left to use to throw these players out of position. But with just under a minute to go, there is still quite a bit that she can do here. Never mind.
Well, there we go. Gypsy Queens, another round on the trot. Pulling this back to a 6-4. Dino, if they get 2 more, that's overtime.
I mean, did RANDYS let it go to overtime?
That's the thing, isn't it? It's getting a little bit awkward now, because if you're RANDYS, it's like, hang on a second.
I mean, Curligan's stats are looking nice, but, you know, that shouldn't be a reason for these rounds to be going like this. We are also seeing Skylia on 15 kills.
Absolute chaos. Going back to CCTV, though, I mean, you know, RANDYS are pretty good at approaching this. Historically as well. Lure trading out the Twitch for, drumroll please, Dino.
Which?
Well, there we are.
Sometimes, you know, you just get inside the head of the players and you know what they're gonna do before they know what they're gonna do. I saw that coming a mile away. I think maybe Curligan might have, or someone might have selected an operator that didn't want to play, and Lil was just, I'm just gonna hold the 6-pick and not let anyone have it. We both know a player who would do that. We both know a player who would do that.
Moving swiftly on. Nice little setup they got going here, very standard, very by the book again. We've got the bandit charges, the Aruni gates as well, the Thunderbird that they... Oh, I just like it. I love Thunderbird and comp.
Locate and defuse a bomb.
It comes with really nice things. Like, you know when Ayana first came out and I was like, this is gonna be a frequent pick, and then Thunderbird, I feel in my jibbies. It's gonna be one of those ones, especially if, you know, eventually when Consulate comes back in.
Rip Consulate.
Yeah, Rip Consulate, but that Thunderbird's gonna be very powerful in Consulate. In this essay, I will.
Oh. They've found one player sitting on top of the rafters, probably going to do a bit of droning to see if there's any ADS's position there. There's no Wamai being brought out by Gypsy Queen, so should be just able to throw 1 or 2 flashbangs and then be able to throw a nade up onto that player sitting there. They do have a Thunderbird Kona heal station positioned just on 90, so there is a potential that they could get revived or stimmed back up if they do get downed or hit by that nade, but it's going to be Yazir's nade to start things off, and Curligan right there to follow on up and get the kill onto the player in Rafters, as we're now into a 5 versus 3 already. The main breach hasn't even been opened up, but RANDYS have full control of Aztec, as Genshila is going to get one back onto Tribat and light Maggie up to a very small amount of health. They're just choosing to completely ignore this main breach trade.
They are. It's really funny because obviously the Bandit Charge just got knocked out, and then yeah, no, we're not even going to try and go around there. Amy Lee just on the rafters with the rest of them. Killigan and Ganshila going through with a nice little trade there, as you say. And it's a 2 versus 3. Randy's taking this a little bit more seriously and doing a very, very good job because of it. But furious C4 and Sheila attempting to fight back against these attackers. Matachi with a cheeky 2k though, and it's Maggie left in a 1 versus 2, and there we go. Ganshina's going to take her down, and that is a beautiful retake.
Bomb defusing attempt failed.
But over before I could even say it, to be honest, you know.
What are Randy's doing? What are they doing? Why didn't they get the main breach? Why? Why not? Grace.
It's becoming an interesting thing, I will say. It looks like they're gonna go for a more strict lineup again, and this time potentially they're not gonna make the mistakes that they were making the last time. I mean, we're going back down to basement deep, and it looks like Maggie's clocked onto that because she's also going to take the double up of the hard breach. That Habana coming through, those ex-Kairos. Very, very useful if you want to open up as many things as possible. But yes, Randy's, they can't faff about anymore because if Gypsy Queens win, we are actually going to overtime.
This was a 6-1.
I think that's the thing though, like, everyone has to take the hat off the Gypsy Queens right now. This was a 6-1.
It was a 6-1, and they were going up against a player with an M870. And they just got styled on. And now, they could, as you say, very possibly lose this. And it's... I mean, first of all, they've many times broken my crucial and definitely not brand new circa last week rule of 3 of... If you're in a 1vx situation, have at least 3 players playing properly. Yeah, send 2 off to do something stupid, but if 3 of you are playing properly, you should win. And Randy's, they've not been following that. They've kind of just gone, right, let's get those kills, try and take those fights, go for the aggression, and they don't really need to. I get you want the kills because it's the last game and you've already secured your playoff spot, but you gotta have that anchor that just sits at the back and makes sure that you win.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely 100%. And again though, this is the thing, the last round, Randy's were being like way more, you could tell that they were like, okay, we actually have to do clean cut things here, old school, by the book things, let's do it. And then it kind of went a little bit chaotic, and it looks like they're trying to do the same again. They're going a little bit more clean cut with it. But Ganshila is going to take out Maggie as the opening pick for this round. So that is all those ex-Kairos taken off the board already. Tribaton retaliating with a pick onto Ganshila as well.
That was a nice angle being held. Ganshila just walks right on into her crosshairs, and Lua is going to get that kill onto Pink Angel. Lua has been, you know, every now and then they'll just get the opening kill in the round and it'll just feel like it's going to be a Randy's round from there on out. As now, player advantage in favor for Randy's. Time, there's more than enough of it for this execute to come through successfully, as Curligan, sitting inside of dirt, is aware that there's a player inside of blue, so Tribaton isn't going to go for the push either, but that Fragnade is going to get rid of that Surya gate and just waiting to see if anyone's going to peek, if anyone's going to challenge. But during this period of time, Randy's, they've just lost their momentum and their footing.
They have. I think it's taken them a little bit off guard that, yes, having a bit of fun with it, whilst still fun, does not get you the dub that you may wish to get.
Unfortunate shots there from Yazia means that she's only able to get one. Natashi trades out Amy Lee, but it's going to be Curligan coming through right at the very end to get that kill. The close range MP5, I believe that was the MP5K, doesn't always do it for you. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's wonderful, sometimes just the damage isn't there. But that is going to be Randy's taking that one 7-5. A nice comeback attempt mounted by Gypsy Queens, but it's not going to be enough, and that will mean ultimately, if I have my memory correct and my head screwed on properly, that Gypsy Queens unfortunately will be in relegations and will have to fight for their spot in the league in the upcoming relegation matches.
Yes, indeed. And again, Randy's there getting a little bit too close for comfort at the end. Um, letting Gypsy Queens come back round after round after round. That could have gone to overtime. That really could have, and that could have been quite amusing and quite entertaining indeed. But yeah, Randy is still maintaining their spot there. Shall we have a look, Dino, at the standings?
I think we shall.
I think we shall. Let's have a cheeky peek. Here, Dino, what's your L5C?
Oh, well, they see the standings that we just asked for. Thank you, Mr. Producer Man. As we see, we have Delta Project sitting on at the top. They've only lost one game this entire season. That was against Sparkle Team, who followed up a strong season with a loss tonight, which has then put them firmly in that second place position. Randy's and Frenemy rounding out our top four. And then we've got Lost Souls and Six Nation who are sitting in that 5-6 spot. They won't need to re-qualify through relegations or the rest of it. Their spots are safe for next season. But Gypsy Queens and Nemesis, they're going to be in a fight coming up soon at some point in the future where they will be playing in those relegation matches and they will be trying to hold on to their positions so they can play in League or Division 1, League 1 of the next season of Project Athena.
Absolutely. And again, I just want to point out that that's very, very exciting indeed because it's nice to see rosters come back, but also going forward, there'll be new blood, fresh blood in time for Halloween, fresh blood coming in for that second season as well. And yeah, if you're Randy's right now, excellent. You've managed to keep nice and safe there in the top four. You've managed to maintain your dignity after some of those plays that were coming through. Getting a little bit spicy there towards the end for them, I think. And then yeah, you saw the momentum shift certainly, which was quite fun to see. But again, that got very, very close and a bit spooky for them, I imagine. Um, at the same time, yeah, I think this has been a really nice night of games, to be honest. Lots
Yeah.
of unexpected things happening, to be honest. I had this very clean cut idea of how I thought it was going to go and just got pretty much the total opposite.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
But those are the best nights.
hmm. Absolutely, for sure. And again, going into these playoffs, it's certainly going to be a very, very exciting indeed. So do, follow the Twitch, follow the Twitter of Opportunity League as well to keep updates on those playoffs and the dates for them and how exciting that's going to be and all kinds of amazing things. And again, big, big shout out to XMG and the 1000 Dreams Fund for sponsoring this event. Without them, it'd be very difficult to run. So thank you very much to those lovely sponsors. If you are looking for a cheeky little bit of funding from the 1000 Dreams Fund, put exclamation mark 1DF in chat and it will give you a little link that you can apply on if you are a player within Athena who also happens to stream. Get yourself some nice little peripherals. Get yourself a nice little bit of razzle dazzle, isn't it, Dino? Up to €1,500. I mean, that's a really nice grant. So again, take advantage of that absolutely. And yeah, going into these playoffs, I think it's going to be incredibly exciting, incredibly spicy. Well done to all the teams that have played this evening. Well done to you, Dino.
Oh,
Well
thank
done
you.
to you. You've done great.
Thanks.
You're
You
doing
too.
great, Sweelie. You're doing great. Got my little cat. I'm being the mum from Mean Girls right now, guys. Thank you very much, Dino. Thank you very much, our lovely production team. Thank you very much to Opportunity League and Just Goat. Thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to you, the viewers at home, for being with us through this regular season of Project Athena. As I say, we will see you in the playoffs. My name's Grace.
My name's Dino.
And
Seamless.
see, very seamless.
Seamless.
Good night, everyone, and please keep your eye on the socials. Bye bye.